This is the Boozerweight, Matt Sells, and you're watching the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are watching right now is a couple of return from absences. The first return is from a birthday party celebration that lasted and lasted and lasted. The second return is simply from yours truly having faulty equipment. But now that that has been rectified, you are once again tuned into the hottest podcast on the known planet. Why? Because we are a planet, damn it. Welcome to the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast. It is yours truly, Anthony Velvet Hall, along with none other than my tag team partner, the one, the only, N.E.F. N.E.F, what's happening, bruh?
What's going on? We're back.
Yes, we are back. That is a very, very nice collection of championship belts you have behind you, sir.
You like it? You like it? I picked them up on my little vacay.
Okay. So are these championships that you won, or are these championships that what did you win them all? Let me ask you that. I'll ask you that. I'll put it like that.
Over the years, yes. I've collected quite a few.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what's up. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Before we get the show started, I would just like to say that last weekend yours truly was floating around Jonesboro, Georgia, and I was nominated for an award that had to do with my acting, and did not know how that was going to turn out, but everything worked in my favor. And you are now talking to the one, the only, the rising actor of 2022. Yes, indeed, yours truly. And here's the proof right here. Yours truly captured the Bosses and Bossettas Rising Actor of 2022 award. And I thank everybody I could possibly think of. And if I didn't thank you and you had a very significant part in what I was doing, please put it on my head and not my heart. You know, that's what people say in church and all that kind of stuff in the day Sunday. So that's what I wanted to do. But I made it very, very clear that if I didn't want to thank anybody else, I had to thank 480. Had to thank 480. I think I have probably worked with 480 more than any one production, with the exception of Jupiter Entertainment. I probably worked with 480 on more productions than anybody else. So shout out to T. Tyrod. Shout out to Andre Tyrone. Shout out to all the other people who work with 480, Travis, Alfonso, Brooke, Erica, everybody. You know, hope I ain't forgot nobody. And of course, most definitely got to give a shout out to N.E.F. You know, shout out to N.E.F.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Now that we have acknowledged that, let's acknowledge some of the things that are going on in professional wrestling. You know, now that Vince McMahon's out the picture, we don't really call it sports entertainment that much because we call it what it is, pro wrestling. And since we're going to talk about pro wrestling, we're going to talk about a very busy day in wrestling, which was yesterday. And yesterday, two good shows happened. Ring of Honor Final Battle, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But first and foremost, we got to talk about NXT Deadline. And the big story coming out of Deadline is the New Day capturing the NXT Tag Team Championships. Now, N.E.F, when the New Day captured these belts, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, they really did their thing. They spoke highly about Kofi Kingston being now the person in WWE to have the most individual tag team title reigns in WWE history at
Triple Crown.
15.
Triple Crown.
Absolutely. And New Day did capture the Triple Crown. It's not often that you see this Triple Crown happening this way, because most of the time people capture the NXT Tag Team Championships, then they get to the main roster and capture the Raw and SmackDown Championships, those who have captured the Triple Crown. So, N.E.F, now that the New Day are the NXT Tag Team Champions, your immediate thoughts?
Immediate thoughts is it's best for business, man. I mean, they've been the longest. We got to do some research on that, and I meant to do that before we came on. But I was like, has there been a faction or a stable that has like literally been together as long as they have? I mean, that's just one thing to ponder. And then we also look at just the hierarchy of everything that they got going on. I mean, of course, they're missing Big E. Of course, they got all this other stuff going on, but just to still be so relevant in and out of storylines is amazing to me. Like, there's no reason to ever break them up. You know, you're gonna have Big E coming back, and then boom, Ricochet actually looks damn good with New Day. So if you was to put Ricochet with anybody, I think that's something to explore. I'm excited, man. I mean, even for NXT, that's a big thing because I wasn't really like a huge fan of NXT like every week, but to see New Day show up on NXT, you can definitely see, you know, that the impact and energy that they bring to NXT. So it's awesome, man. I'm happy. New Day. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
That's what's up, man. I really didn't. I was kind of on the fence of whether the championship was going to change hands, and not to say that the New Day couldn't take the championship. I knew they could because Pretty Deadly is they're deadly. Pretty. I let somebody else handle that right
Yeah,
there.
we don't
But
do that.
yeah, we're not even gonna go there with them. But they are formidable tag team champions. You know, they came out of the unification of the NXT and the NXT UK championships. They walked in with no championships and walked out with both championships. So I was under the impression that they'd have a long reign after all that happened. But just as sure as it happened, New Day came in, swooped in, and took the title. So I personally hope, considering the quality of the match, because it was a damn good match last night, that this is not the only time these teams get together.
Facts.
Absolutely, man. It's just I can't wait to see it. After we get done with the podcast, I may just jump on and look at Deadline, go to Peacock and check out the match again because it was really good. It was a really good match and it deserved to be where it was on the card. Most definitely. Um Another show that happened, the one we just talked about, Ring of Honor Final Battle. And if I don't know everything that happened on the card, but I do know this. There were a lot of
No,
there were a lot of title matches and a lot of title changes. A whole lot of them. So we start off with Claudio Castagnoli regaining the Ring of Honor championship to Chris Jericho, and he won the match in a very interesting way. Jericho was trapped in the giant swing and tapped out on the mat while he was being swung around. That's probably one of the craziest finishes I think I have ever seen. Uh, Immediate thoughts, Neff?
is that it for Jericho? Are we calling it for Jericho?
I wouldn't dare call it for Jericho, man. I really wouldn't. I'd
Really?
never
Okay.
call that it for Jericho. The only thing now is just trying to figure out what he's going to do next. He's far from finished. He's far from finished. You can't convince me Chris Jericho is finished.
Right.
In other matches, you saw Athena, who has been sporting a very aggressive style as of late, captured the Ring of Honor Women's Championship from Mercedes Martinez. The Briscoe brothers defeated FTR and won the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships in what I think was a dog collar match. Samoa Joe retained the Ring of Honor Television Championship against
Joe.
Juice Robinson. Um, and
He
the
had a
Ring of
lot to
Honor,
say after that too, huh?
huh?
He had a lot to say after that. Little big old Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Joe had some stuff to say at the media scrum. The and I'm glad you said that because there was a 6-man tag team title match that happened, and I really didn't care. So I'm glad we got something else to talk about. So Samoa Joe, Samoa
Welcome
Joe
back, ladies
called
and gentlemen.
Samoa Joe actually called out Cody Rhodes at the end of during the media scrum. Neff, what do you make of this?
Hey man, he said he'll beat them all. That's all he said to me. For me, that's Samoa Joe. I like to see him talk trash. I mean, that's his bread and butter, and just being aggressive. So, hey man, it's Samoa Joe, man. Calling out Cody though, that's the man's hurt. Come on now.
Yeah, I totally agree with all that because yeah, of course he's hurt. He's hurt. We don't know when he's coming back, or it's just. Oh, I think people have an idea when he's coming back. You got these
Yeah,
big shows coming up and all that. It won't be
yeah.
a day one because there ain't gonna be a day one. WWE canceled that. There will be no day one this year. You know, so we got the Royal Rumble coming up. Hint, hint. Don't expect to see a couple of returns, at least two returns
A
at the
couple.
Royal Rumble. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. Um, Rockin' Reese in the building as he states New Day joined FTR and the Street Profits as the only teams to hold the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT Tag Team Championships. That's a very, very astute observation, Reese. Reese is the man, y'all. Y'all got to check out Reese and the weekly NFL Reese cap. Reese, if you want to, man, be sure to drop a link, man. I'd be more than happy to share it in the chat and share it with everybody. Let's see. Reese also says there were some referee botches on the pins in the Rush and Drilistico and Embassy matches. Yeah, what you said. That part. Got it. Yeah, I agree.
Nothing like a good old referee botch.
Absolutely. It's a lot of botches and stuff like that. Ronda Rousey. Anyway, let's see. Well, that's a lot to cover, man. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We've been off for a couple of weeks. Well, I've Neff more weeks than me. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna
I
take
don't
ourselves
recall.
an early break. And we're going to come back. And when we come back, I'm going to give Neff the opportunity to do what he does every week, and that's give us his conspiracy theory. Stick and stay. Don't go away. This is the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast.
I mean, this is not the MySpace age, Dad. We need to use social media to our advantage.
She's still missing.
Well, then you should know I'm gonna stop at absolutely nothing until I find mine.
Oh, should I wait with you? You know, it gets pretty dangerous out here this time of night.
Why can't her mother watch her? Hell, why can't she watch herself? She's a teenager.
Good choice of words.
Excuse me? You're right. Who wants a case of the bitch?
Excuse me?
Hey, baby.
I found his address.
So y'all been thinking about this for a while, huh?
You gonna act like you don't hear me? Oh, I got something for that. Freeze!
You are my life.
Yeah, well, you have a funny way of showing it.
Hey, Captain!
Charles Reedon, computer specialist. Think you guys have him labeled as the Grant Park killer.
The war is just beginning. And the bad part about it, they won't even see it coming. What's your fixation?
Ladies and gentlemen, Neff is in the building. And Neff, right now, I am trying very hard to locate your conspiracy theory intro. And guess what? I found it. So everyone, put your hands together, put your hearts in the right place, and do that thing we need you to do. And that is...
Give me that.
Hell yeah.
Give me that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neff is in the building.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. See, it's been a couple weeks. You know, and a lot happens. A lot happens in a week. You know what I'm saying? 24 hours, 48 hours, a full week, 7 days. It's been 2. You know, I've been out doing my thing. I celebrated my birthday, and then I don't know where the hell I went. But I'm back. Okay? I'm back. So, a lot has happened. And we had to sit here and we had to ponder. And I remember asking the question before I went on my hiatus. I said, what's next for my boy? Conspiracy theory. Is that it? I mean, did they take the monkey off his back by stripping him of the money in the bank suitcase? I mean, of course they did, you know. But when a man loses something like that, you know, he got to get back on his feet. He got to get between them ropes again, and he got to rise to the top. And that's what Austin Theory did. My boy Conspiracy Theory went on to go into a triple threat match and win the United States Championship back from Seth Rollins off of Bobby Lashley's spear, and he just fell on top of Seth Rollins and took the title back. My boy Conspiracy Theory. See, there's been a new attitude in place. And I know I ain't talking attitude era because we are far from it. But here we have my boy Conspiracy Theory with the new attitude, the new approach, the new big man on campus, the one that wants to make a name for himself all over again. Now, will he ever be cheered? We don't know. This could be a whole nother Miz situation where there would not be a cheer in the crowd. All booze, and he'll never get his fans. But hey, it is what it is, because my boy Conspiracy Theory is back on track. It maybe be positioning itself for the Royal Rumble. Who knows? If Vince McMahon was in charge, Conspiracy Theory will enter the Royal Rumble and he will win. But that's not the case anymore. So we got to make lanes for ourselves. What would the young man do? Would he show up on NXT, take another title? Hell, would he, just take every title in WWE? I doubt it. I don't give him that. But see, he had to be stripped away of that Money in the Bank suitcase, get rid of that handicap, and position him to make a name for himself. Now, we don't know what the plans are next. We don't know the rivalries. We don't know if Seth Rollins has just forgotten all about the United States Championship and said, screw it, I'm on the bigger and better things. I held it for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Seth had no reign. But not like my boy Conspiracy Theory. I believe that he's going to have one of the longest reigns. I doubt it. That's just me just hoping for the best. But it is what it is. Conspiracy Theory is our United States champion. He's going to do big things. And as long as he keeps the attitude and keep the phone in his pocket and not take any more selfies, I believe my boy will do big things. We're going to come back to this when some more news happen with Conspiracy Theory. But just know, I'm a happy man as this man is carrying the gold. Once again, Conspiracy Theory.
I am in shock right now. Mainly because your whole attitude about Conspiracy Theory has completely changed with his attitude. What the hell happened?
What do you mean? The boy needed an edge, okay? That's it. He just needed a little edge. All right. The cell phone gimmick had to go. And as soon as he lost that Money in the Bank suitcase, he snapped out of it and snapped into a whole new attitude. I can appreciate a quick turn heel like that. That boy is about to show out. Conspiracy Theory.
Wow. I am tripping. This is crazy. Wow. Okay. Well, since N.E.F has had his opportunity to shoot, let me shoot on something that I want to talk about. I was on TikTok and I was just talking about women's wrestling as a whole, in WWE specifically. And we talked about WWE, we talked about things happening. And one of the things that came up was the question a lot of people been asking. Should there be a WWE Women's Mid-Card Championship? Here's my feeling on the whole situation. First and foremost, look at the women's division as a whole. Look at Raw. When you look at Raw, you can break down the women's division into two segments. A match between Rhea Ripley and Minchin, and a six-man convoluted mess between Sasha, God, and the other five. That's pretty much it. That's all I'm gonna say. And Sasha and the other five. And after that, that's your whole WWE Women's Division for Monday Night Raw. Then you turn on SmackDown, and what do you have? You have Ronda Rousey boosting up something with Shayna Baszler by her side, and then she gets to a match with Shotzi, and Shotzi pretty much carries her at the pay-per-view because Ronda botches, and we wonder why Shayna hasn't gotten an opportunity to really show her stuff. I really don't know who else is on SmackDown as far as women's wrestling goes because all we hear is Ronda, Ronda, Ronda. With that being said, everybody's asking, should there be a WWE Women's Mid-Card Championship? My thought on the situation is this. If you're smart and you look at the reign of Ronda Rousey, I think at this point she's probably done irreparable damage to the SmackDown Women's Championship. While Rhea Ripley, not Rhea Ripley, but Bianca Belair, on the other hand, is doing her thing, and she is tearing it up as Raw Women's Champion. I say you take the two championships and you forge them into one. You get one single women's championship to be defended between both shows, not brands, but shows, because at this point they are more shows than brands. It's not a whole lot of exclusivity right now. If anything, what you should do is you should boost up the women's roster on both shows, and then and only then can you create mid-card championships for each brand. That's the only logical explanation or solution for this whole thing. Right now, I do not think that the women's division, as strong as it may be or as weak as it may be, depending on which side of the fence you're on, does not deserve a mid-card championship to begin with. The women's championship picture is certain on Raw, with Bianca being the champion and doing her thing, and us trying to figure out which one of the 5 people that she's fighting she's going to fight next. Because of course she's fighting Bailey. We do know that, but who's she fighting after that? We're looking at Alexa, and we're looking at her situation with Bray, and then we're looking at Oscar. We're trying to figure out if she's serious or she's going to be silly. And then you got SmackDown, and you don't know what the hell's going on over there. So right now, I do not think there's room for a mid card women's championship. If there should be a mid card women's championship anywhere, it should probably be on NXT, because that women's division makes a whole lot more sense. Until then, it ain't happening. Not on this watch. N.E.F, your thoughts?
We got to see where it came from, and it's coming from Bailey, who made the suggestion that it should be another title. Now, I'm not totally against it.
I am.
And we spoke about this probably about it was a while ago. Whatever episode that is, go back, watch Planet Velvet podcast. But we talked about it, and we brought up a lot of names, we brought up a lot of scenarios, a lot of storylines that can make it work. I think in fairness to just the overall revolution of what we're doing with the women's division, I think it needs to be a mid card. The men have had the Intercontinental, the Hardcore, the European, the Intercontinental, the United States, it's just been such a long list of individual men's titles for mid cards, and the women's have only had one title. Now, to have it on both brands, I agree with the, maybe just bring the one title for both brands to make it more competitive, and you can kind of, spread them out a little bit more. But to have another title that, because the tag team titles, that was a big leap, and that was a great addition to the company, even though we didn't know who was going to tag, like, okay, who's going to be, you don't have that many women in there to really make a tag team like that, but they're making it work. Does it make sense all the time? No, it switched hands overnight, from pay-per-view to the next night on Raw or something. Like, it's changed hands quickly, but I think a mid-card wouldn't hurt, and I think it will kind of just bring more of that competitiveness, and it will bring more women in from NXT a little faster, so I'm both ways on it, but I think a mid-card wouldn't hurt.
I don't think it'll help. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I don't think it will help. I think once they break up this 6-woman mess that we've been dealing with for the last 2 months, then we'll have a clearer idea of the Raw women's division. And I think it will become much more competitive. I think you put a mid card championship in play to try to increase competition. But the reality of the situation is, all you have on Raw as far as the championship picture goes are what? Former champions. Former champions. You got Io Sky and
Yeah.
you know, her tag team partner, and they are women's tag team champions. We don't know if they're ever going to get from under Bailey's thumb and eventually go after championships. We do see, the Oscar Io Sky thing going on, and Dakota Kai, we just don't know. Maybe she'll revamp her feud with Rodriguez when she comes back. But I think if anything, I think if you want to really eliminate any idea of there being a mid card championship is for the women, you go to SmackDown and you make that women's division interesting and much more competitive. You make it interesting and much more competitive. Ronda Rousey has been the butt of so many jokes as of late. People who are almost all in unison in saying that she's not ready for the spot that she's in. And it's kind of hard to disagree with them. But there needs to be some parity. There really needs to be some parity in the SmackDown women's division, because right now, I think you build up interest in women's wrestling in WWE as a whole if you actually, run an enema through that damn thing. Because honestly, it's just like, I just don't know.
Am I the only one that misses Charlotte?
You're not. You're not.
I
But at the
miss
same time,
Charlotte, bro.
if she comes back, that's another former champion you got. So I mean, like, what do you do with her? She's accomplished almost everything. Reese has hit us up and says WWE should have been boosting up their women's divisions with the main roster and NXT when they started taking Give Divas a Chance into the women's revolution. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I think about how long ago that was with
Yeah, that
giving
was
Divas a chance.
yeah.
I agree with that. I just think now at this point we are delving back into the dark ages of women's wrestling when it just started to feel like a sideshow. Women mean so much more to wrestling now than they did 40 years ago.
Mhm.
Like I hate to say it, but it's the truth. They're being
Hell,
put in.
20 years ago.
Yeah, you're right because they're being.
Like no, seriously. Like I mean, yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. Because if women's wrestling wasn't so bad going back in those days, we would have never had the Divas Championship. That mess. I'm
That was a
saying
hot mess.
that was a hot and a cold one too. I'm serious. That was a horrible, horrible championship. And I mean,
I mean,
not to not
we're not far from even just they were lingerie matches in
bra and
freaking
panties and
bra and
gravy bowl
panty. You know what I'm
matches
saying?
and
Like, come on. Like
pillow fights.
I go back and I watch it in disgust, and I really question my childhood at that point. Like, damn, I see why my mom was like, I couldn't watch it, but it was still like, what y'all was serving this up, and it was just it. Yeah, we're far removed from that era, but I think even in today's how they're doing it, like I mean, it's just changed so much, and I just feel like a mid card championship would be pretty dope. I mean, give them something else to fight for. That way, you can bring more talent in, and then go from there at that point.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will jump into another break. And when we come back, we'll talk more wrestling. Stick and stay. Don't go away. This is the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast. Log on to StallionSquad.com today and use discount code Velvet10 to get yourself some great savings on premium fitness gear, no matter what your fitness level may be. Stallion Squad. Squad up. And we're back.
Just
Yes,
like
we are back. Yes, we are back just like that. And we have already discussed this, so we will remove this banner and we will go to another banner. Since we're talking about women's wrestling, let's talk about one of the most talked about women's wrestlers in the world, the one and only Mercedes Varando, also known as Sasha Banks, who
my
will
boo.
be making some sort of appearance next year in New Japan. Now, according to Dave Hot Mess Metzler, Sasha is apparently done with WWE. How true that is, we don't know. I threw around the idea that maybe WWE has some kind of working agreement with New Japan, that maybe Sasha Banks being there is a nice lead in for her to eventually come back to WWE. Neff, what are you thinking?
I think my boo Sasha is gonna do whatever she want to do. Now the WWE needs her. I mean, definitely right now, her and Naomi, they need them. I mean, just like we just talked about with the mid card championship and stuff like that, and just the main event, like even just the main event besides Bianca Belair, um, they're not main eventing women anymore. So yeah. New Japan is gonna get a star, and I've seen her training over in what was Rey Mysterio's old gym?
Rey Mysterio's old gym.
Oh, Rey Mysterio's old gym. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like yeah, like so she's putting in work. She's still competitive at heart, and she's not gonna stop, and she ain't gonna let no company stop her shine. And if it is one of those setups, like okay. Like on Young Rock, if you saw the last episode, it was like his dad went over, thought he was breaking in this whole connection with Vince McMahon before WrestleMania 1, and it's like yeah, no, she's not gonna be setting up a whole New Japan kind of thing with WWE. Like they could do whatever they want. I think it's a big move for her. It's good to see that she's gonna still compete. And I mean, she's been out on the town. She's been at basketball games, football games. She's making appearances on movie sets and stuff. Like, she's doing her thing, man. That's my boo.
Yeah, come to 480, Sasha. Come to 480. Come rock with us.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just saying, come rock with us for a minute. As far as New Japan Pro Wrestling goes and women's wrestling, as you know, they recently crowned their first ever New Japan World Women's Champion, and that champion is Kairi Sane, the former Kairi Sane who was in WWE. Big Kairi Sane fan right here, and I'm happy to see she's doing her thing because when she left WWE, she was pretty much saying she was done with wrestling. Then she pops back up and wins the New Japan Women's Championship. So, Kairi Sane versus Sasha Banks. eventually I see that being a road that they're going to travel down, and I see that being a road they're going to take. And when those matches actually take place, because like you said, Sasha Banks has been training, so she's far from rusty. And when that match actually happens, man, I can't wait to see that actually take off. Neff,
Both.
yeah, absolutely, definitely got to see it happen. Hopefully, it'll happen. I don't know if they're going to do it right then and there, or if they're going to drag it out. Everybody has their way of doing things, so we'll see if that happens. We'll see what happens with that. Another interesting tidbit of news came from AEW this week. The Ricky Starks MJF promo. This was heat. Everybody and their mother has been waiting on Ricky Starks to be in this position to face MJF or be in the main event picture in some kind of way. But then when he and MJF had their exchange, oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was probably one of the best things I've seen on TV, wrestling TV this year, and the year's about to close. Neff, your thoughts on this promo?
Did you say just awesome? It was just awesome, like it was like a Miz a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Did you just cut a little Miz bit? Let me tell you what it is, because I don't think y'all really understand at home. I got some quotes here. I got some notes. Hold on, let me put my glasses on.
Put the glass back on.
First of all, this man called Ricky Starks a rock wannabe. Let's see. A rock wannabe. Now that was classic. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Oh, you stole everything from the Rock." Then the line of the year came from Ricky Starks calling that man Maxi Pad. What? Oh, he called this man Maxi Pad. He said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was to me, it's all about how you handle yourself on the microphone.
You're a low budget Dwayne.
A low budget Dwayne. I mean, come on.
You're a Roddy Piper ripoff.
I mean, it's just big classic lines between the both of them. It was great, man. That was promo of the year. That's gonna end the year right. I mean, man, MJF has been dropping nothing but top 10 promos, so you know.
I know. Man, your shoes are bad, the shirt's unwrinkled, you got that shitty scarf and that crappy haircut, and you think you're better than me? Give me a break. I'm paraphrasing Ricky Starks. But yeah, he got down. Both of them got down, man. That was just
great.
I can't wait for that match. Winter is coming.
And
yeah,
then
that's gonna be something.
Then he took a kick to the nuts. So
yeah,
that's how you end that, MJF. That's how you anytime you want to end an argument, kick him in the nuts.
Yeah. I know not to argue with your ass. So anyway, yeah, but yeah, that's gonna be something serious, man. We talked about championships, and we did mention the women's mid-card championship and everything. With there being so many championships in AEW now, we got the All Atlantic Championship. We harp on this a whole lot, talking about championships and everything. In your opinion, what would you say right now is the most valuable championship in AEW? And that includes Ring of Honor championships as well.
Oh, without a doubt. It's the one freaking MJF have. I mean, immediately as soon as he won, he put the power back on that belt. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody say. The power is literally back on that world title. And that just made everything else look like a great sideshow. Now everything is in its place of a mid-card. It's in its place of, okay, go defend it. It'll switch hands probably every week, whatever. Like, nobody's going to care about that. Like, the power is there now. So they got something to build off of. MJF, like he said, he's trying to hold that thing until his contract run out, and then he's going to have the biggest bidding war in history. And that's shout out to old Trips.
Shout out to old Trips. Yeah, that's going to be something, man. That's just. But what do you make of the mid-card mess? I mean, you got the television championship, you got the TNT championship, you got the Ring of Honor television championship, you got the All Atlantic championship. Is Hook even defending that FTW mess anymore? What do you make of that convoluted mess right there?
I mean, it feels like it did in WCW with the TV title, TNT title, with the Cruiserweight title. Like, it just all has its place. I mean, and it is what it is. They're still exciting matches. I just don't feel like nothing really matters other than the top dog belt in the business.
Man,
So
it feels like Oprah Winfrey is running a wrestling show and put a belt under everybody's chair.
you get a belt. You
You
get a
get a
belt.
belt. Everybody gets a belt. I'm serious. It's just, oh my God. I don't know. I mean, in final battle last night, Ring of Honor. I think they had 8 matches and 5 of them were for belts. Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
Yes.
This is ridiculous. And I'm a belt mark. I love championships. My goal in 2023 is to win a championship. But I hope that the belt I win is not housed by a company that has 57 freaking championship belts.
That's
My
like being in a
God.
competition as a kid and everybody gets a medal.
Participation trophies. Participation trophies. For real. Got these wimpy kids. You giving them participation trophies. No, I ain't going to give you no participation trophy. I'm going to send you home and tell you to try harder. I wish my son would come home with a participation trophy. I throw that shit in the trash. But I'm serious. But yeah, that's just how it is, man. Yeah, too many championship belts. Oh, did you see Riddle get the crap kicked out of him this weekend? I mean, this
Poor
week.
Riddle.
Yeah,
Poor
there's
Riddle.
the rumors
I
floating
felt bad.
around is that he needs some time off and all that kind of stuff. But I think one of the things that's happening is we don't really know the severity of Randy Orton's injury, and because of that, they don't know what to do with him. Neff, what do you think about this?
Yeah. See, I knew that the injury was probably going to be serious on Randy's side, only because I mean when you get up there in age, those injuries just come and they last a little longer. And he's had it's been a while since he's been hurt, and I think the biggest run or the biggest story that they had was Riddle and Randy moving forward, and then when Randy went down, it's kind of like you got Riddle just scooting his ass all around backstage, and they're like, you know what? Hey, Riddle, just go slide your ass out there in the middle of a promo that had absolutely nothing to do with Riddle. Nothing led up to no promo with them. No beef came with that. Like, Riddle is just popping up in random promos for no reason. That's how much they don't have for Riddle. They really don't know what to do with Riddle without Randy Orton. He can still get a pop, you know what I'm saying? He's still got his fans, and we still appreciate what he does. Cause like I say, you know, him fighting without shoes or boots on, like I applaud that every time, because it's already tough enough to do it in boots, and to do it with no shoes on. Like, you got to give the boy credit. Like, he's super talented. I just think that there's nothing for him at this point in time. So with Randy Orton, I mean, they're talking. I mean, of course, they're all rumors, but they're talking that, hey, this might be one of those retirement situations. This may be one of those situations where we won't see him as long as we did with like Edge, when Edge had to go away for a long time, and it took a lot in him to just kind of come back and do it again. But we know how much Randy Orton is a competitor. We know that he is a Hall of Famer. He will be in the Hall of Fame. I just think for Riddle, it's gonna take. I really don't know. Because you really can't break him from that character. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
don't think I can see Riddle any way else. Like, I couldn't see him doing anything else other than who he is right now, because that's
right.
him. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough thing when you get stuck into a character that they can't switch up if something else doesn't happen or work out for them. So yeah, this Randy thing is gonna play a huge part in that. And we just gotta see where they go with it. Like, it's gonna be tough though.
Yeah, I'm a big Randy Orton fan. Always have been. Actually, he grew on me when he really started doing we started acting with the voices in his head and all that. That's when he really took a
Yeah.
turn, because before that he was just like super cocky, super cocky. And then all of a sudden when he started doing the voices, his character became this big brooding guy that was just ticked off all the time. And he started playing these head games, manipulative and very evil. He was truly heelish on another level. He was a much better heel to me than his daddy ever was. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't watch a whole lot of Cowboy Bob Orton matches,
Yeah, that's
and the
facts.
ones I did see, I catch him on tape delay or something, because I never was really that interested in him. But the reality of the situation is Randy Orton is a once in a lifetime kind of athlete. And like I said, I like championships and winning championships, and I like the idea of wrestlers winning a lot of championships. Randy Orton's a 14-time world champion. I personally hope
14.
he would be the one who would break the record and become the 17-time world champion. And I still do, because it only makes sense to me that he's the one that does it. I'm happy Cena and Flair share the record, but I hope that Randy Orton does come back for those reasons in particular. Like when he beat Drew McIntyre for the championship, nobody saw him beating him, but when he won it, I was like, yeah, there's another one. We got another championship. But
Yeah.
as far as Riddle goes, I do not know what you do with a guy like that. I'm about like you. I don't see him doing anything other than what he's doing.
Mm.
But at the same time, nobody has. I think now everybody's kind of gotten down off the high of Triple H being the guy who runs wrestling nowadays. So he
Mhm.
isn't being praised a whole lot. It's just like everything is like, okay, we're back to normal now. You don't hear a whole lot of Triple H praising. As a matter of fact, you're starting to hear a little bit of criticism, which pretty much comes with everything. I don't think the
Oh
man's really
yeah.
done a whole lot of wrong since
Right.
he's taken over the reins at
Right.
WWE.
You
But
know that adrenaline shot when something new happens. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That goes away very quickly. I mean,
absolutely. And
yeah.
people are fickle as hell, man.
Oh
People are
yeah,
so fickle, man.
for sure.
They drift in the direction of the strongest win. So I am not going to be somebody that's going to condemn Triple H for anything that he's done. As a matter of fact, I think he's done a fantastic job. And I think that because he is who he is, he's going to bring back Riddle and everybody else who's probably be coming back in a way that nobody expects. And
Yeah.
that's what wrestling needs right now. Because as soon as the New Day won the championship, I saw a story up on everybody was like, WWE's plans for the New Day now that they're the NXT champions. I don't want to hear about the damn plans. I want to
Right.
watch the plans unfold. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? That's what takes me off
did
about wrestling more
did
than anything
did you
else.
see the Royal Rumble little spoiler card that went out?
Yeah.
That's been floating around. I'm like, y'all need a job. Like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like go find something else. Like, I get all the speculations, I get all the rumors, and
Yeah.
you got to really decipher through a bunch of stuff. Like, as journalists, as we do this every week, it's like you have to kind of like read between all the lines, know who to trust. You know, you don't want to just be out there just like, oh yeah, Cody Rhodes is gonna win the Royal Rumble, and like, come on, we don't. As long as I've been watching wrestling, I don't care what I've ever predicted. You know, I've always been excited to see how it plays out, and it's just
Right.
so many things can change. Like in the beginning of the show, they can literally change everything. You know, so
Mhm.
it's just how it is. You got to flow it out. Injuries happen, and you got to kind of go the other way. So like like come on, man, shut up, stick us in, stick us in.
Man, if I had the WWE's money, I seriously knowing the way marks are, the way like a lot of these smart marks are, because a lot of them sit around and camp out around the hotels and all that kind of stuff to see who might be in the Royal Rumble. I would just invite people, just random people.
Right,
People who may have had a history with WWE, people who never been in WWE, people who might have been in WCW or ECW or like some real old time wrestler, if they're still around. Just bring them in and
for no
have them
damn
walk
reason.
around with the gear bag and all that kind of stuff, and just bring them and have create the traffic that sees them going from place to place, because the minute they're moving, the internet is going to go crazy. Oh my god, I just saw Bill Watts going going to a
Not
hotel. He's going to
Bill
be in the
Watts.
Royal Rumble. And it's somebody completely different afterwards. Like none of the people that people see walking will be in the Royal Rumble. It's just going to be a completely different set of people. I get a kick out of Marks just being pissed off because they don't know a damn thing. When they predict stuff happening and everything just goes left, it's the most beautiful thing you ever see in your life.
I saw David Arquette with a backstage pass. Oh my god, he's gonna be in the Royal Rumble. It's crazy.
Surprise entrance for the women's Royal Rumble, Cyndi Lauper.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I gotta see. I need that to happen. I need W. See, I think different, man. That's why I can't run a wrestling organization, $1 billion wrestling organization, because I would just tick off so many people.
The most random.
I know, right? Like, man, yeah. I put out all kind of yeah, we're gonna have a money in the bank match and Hornswoggle's gonna win, I put out all kind of stuff like that. That would just be that would just be too much fun. Oh man, what's up to my buddy William Dabbs? William Dabbs, you talk about a warrior. This man went head to head with cancer and kicked it right in the nuts like MJF
I'm
did
talking
Ricky
about.
Starks. Straight
That's what
up.
I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. William Dabbs, the man, the player, the pimp, exquisite. Him all day. Uh-oh. He gave us a match idea. And you know what? We've heard of all kind of matches. We've heard of the Punjabi prison match. We've heard of the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. But now William has given us a great match. Dirty diaper on a pole match.
Call it the Dirty Diana.
I know, man. If Pat Patterson was living, him and Jared Briscoe could have that match. You know, the first one to grab that bag of the pins wins the match.
Ridiculous.
I know that's right. I don't know. But that is Pat Patterson, man. You might have put some KY jelly on the pole match for him. I don't know. It's just I'm just saying, man. You know, Pat used to get down there his day. Just hilarious. We're having a good time, y'all. This is what pro wrestling should be all about. It should be fun. It should be about you expecting the unexpected.
Speaking of good time, I gotta go back to this. Let me, because we've been off for a minute, so I don't want nobody to forget. We queued up. We there? No, don't, because we still got Christmas coming. You know what I'm saying? We still got Christmas coming, but let's go back. You know what I'm saying? Let's not forget the foot on the neck of the pops in his own house. You know what I'm saying? The disrespect. I'm still not gonna give Dominic any kind of pass at all, because the boy is still terrible on the mic. I'm like terrible. I just can't. But this got to be the craziest thing I've ever seen. It was funny. And we didn't get a chance to go on air when this happened. So I wanted to make sure that people didn't forget that Dominic had his foot on the back of the legendary Rey Mysterio neck. And the build-up for WrestleMania is happening. Of course, we will see the match between Dominic and Rey Mysterio. That's definitely going to go down. But man, this right here, this mess.
Wow.
I mean, from what I heard, the turkey was still in the air fryer. They still had dressing cooking. Greens wasn't done. They had all kind of stuff. Dinner wasn't even ready yet before this happened. Y'all rude. That's real disrespectful. And I want to put that out there before Christmas, just in case any other shenanigans happen before Christmas.
Oh my goodness. William gives us another shot. He says Dominic needs to hit the weight room. Man, no true words have been spoken. And Rhea Ripley just continues to just be the breakout star of the Judgment Day. Like Dominic is in a great position right now. He's in a great position. Finn Balor has all his WWE success behind him, so he can't really do a whole lot of wrong. I think the odd man out right now might be Damian Priest. Yeah. Like, he's the biggest dude there, but with the exception of a United States Championship title reign, what else has he done?
I would have thought we would have seen Damian Priest and the Bray develop a little bit, and I'm surprised that they haven't went there right out the bat, because I'm really not understanding this feud with Maxie, whatever the press dude,
LA Knight,
whatever,
LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. Yeah,
I'm so confused about this whole thing. And to be honest, I don't want to call it a dud, because Bray Wyatt is still giving us great promos. He's still giving us theatrics that hasn't been seen on this kind of level. So I still have so much respect for Bray. I'm just confused on the buildup that y'all had for Bray, the pop that you managed to get, and then literally pull him all the way back to like just another wrestler. Like, it just doesn't seem right. I mean, I know it's other things building, or they're trying to get somewhere with it, but I'm getting kind of stalled out with it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. LA Knight is the kind of guy who has the vocal skills that you put in a match with somebody who can't talk, in a promo with somebody who can't talk.
Fact.
I'm just as confused with you as this whole thing, man, because I'm just like, why? I don't get it. I don't understand what the payoff's going to be. But at the same time, I did just get finished talking about, me not liking somebody telling me what the plans on wrestling are going to be. So I'm just going to have to drift along and watch and see what's happening with this
We're gonna
whole
have to
thing.
watch and see what's happening. And like I always said, like I always felt like Bray Wyatt and the Undertaker would have been that dream final match for the Undertaker. And no disrespect to AJ Styles being Undertaker's last match, because no one can sell it better than AJ. As far as just his way of being able to sell any bump, to be able to tell a story in the ring. AJ Styles really, really has that. But I just felt like with Undertaker, that was not the proper send off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he had to end it during a pandemic with no crowd, no pop, no emotion, no feeling, no nothing. It was all just taped and then
Screens.
edited. You know what I'm saying?
Just
Yeah,
a
like
bunch of freaking screens. I hated
yeah.
that.
And the
He
fact
came
that
down. He came down the freaking aisle, man.
yeah,
TVs. Get to the end of the aisle, more TVs. Turns the corner, looks out into the crowd. What does he see? Zenith, Mitsubishi,
right,
Sony, LG,
right,
Phillips, all kind of stuff. Getting there, cuts a promo that should have been the promo that sent him on his way. That should have been engulfed and embraced by living, breathing, fleshy fans. And what
right.
does he have? TVs.
Yeah,
TVs.
TVs. Yeah, so I always felt like Bray was probably going to be the one to finish that on off, because I felt like they were going to be able to tell an amazing story in the ring,
Right.
and Undertaker would have been able to work at that pace because Bray wouldn't have sped him up anything more than he was going to be comfortable with, and they could have really just brawled and really just gave us something. So I mean, with that being said, we don't know what the plans are with Bray. We've just been sitting back admiring his work. It is a work of art. He's in the class of his own. He's given us something that only he can really do. I still believe his entrance is too god dang on long, but that's but that's neither here nor there. We just got to see how this play out, and hopefully it picks up, man. And they put him in a better situation. But right now, I'm not too over the top with it.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that whole Uncle Crappy, Uncle Skippy, or whatever the heck his name is, with the big mask that, like, it looks like somebody just took Kevin Nash's old Oz mask and just updated it. Like,
Is it not the mask from the movie? Was it the call or the phone? The black phone, something like that.
Phone
With the
call?
whatever movie that came out recently. Is that not the mask from that movie? It looks
It could
exactly
be.
like it. We'll
It
have more
could be. I
updates
don't know.
next week. I ran out of
Yeah.
pictures in my camera roll.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Oh man, yo, this has been a pretty good show. We're happy to have come back and talk to you guys and do all this good wrestling stuff that we do on a regular. Um, hey man, we had a lot going on. We got to make sure look. We got to, birthdays and equipment be damned. We got to stay giving y'all this good Planet Velvet energy like we only know how to do. So one thing I do want to do is get N.E.F to let everybody know exactly where they can find him on social media, even though it's floating at the bottom of the screen. There,
It's floating at the bottom.
We'd like for you to tell us exactly where we can find you online.
You can find me. You can find me on Instagram.
The family friendly ones. Now, I'm just saying.
Or yeah. Links up though. Go get that. The 480 MG N.E.F on Instagram, and Jesse I am N.E.F on Facebook. Yeah, that's where you can find me, man.
Okay. Wait a minute. Hold up. I think you might need to tell them again, bro.
I mean, oh yeah. Smooth got smooth that one out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can find me at 480 MG N.E.F on Instagram, and Jesse I am N.E.F Miller on Facebook. New music coming. It's crazy.
That's what's up. And you can find me Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok at Velvet478. You know how we do it. We will be back talking to you guys next week with more pro wrestling action. Hopefully we'll have some even better action. We're gonna delve into quite a few subjects because I think this next week is gonna be really unpredictable. It's gonna be real unpredictable. That's what we love so much about pro wrestling. So N.E.F, got anything you want to get the fans before we sign off?
Hey man, be looking out for Sami Zayn's new look. I'm trying to tell you, boy, that boy about to become an official oos. That boy about to become official oos.
Uh-oh. That could be something to watch. Well, look, y'all, we've had a ball talking to you guys, and we will be back next week with more pro wrestling action for my tag team partner, N.E.F. It's yours truly, Anthony Velvet Hall. Signing off, and we'll see y'all next week.